For 70 years, humanity has relied on a brutal method to reach space. We strap ourselves to giant metal tubes filled with explosives and light the fuse. Every rocket you've ever seen follows the same rule. You burn fuel to lift fuel, to lift more fuel. It's a loop, a trap. But what if the way out isn't more power? What if the future of space travel is a thread? Hiding in the math of orbital mechanics is a silent, elegant alternative. A structure 200,000 miles long, woven from materials thinner than a human hair, that could make rockets entirely obsolete. We are about to build a highway to the moon. To understand why we desperately need this bridge, we must look at the moon, not as a desolate graveyard of craters, but as the eighth continent of Earth. It's a cosmic treasure map written in dust and stone. Beneath that gray surface lie vast, untouched deposits of titanium, aluminum, and rare earth elements, along with helium-3, the ultimate fuel for the clean fusion reactors of tomorrow. Yet, the sheer cost of landing and launching with traditional rockets makes industrializing these resources a financial impossibility. Right now, we're like desperate explorers trying to build a thriving city across a raging ocean, using rowboats that catch fire and sink after a single trip. The solution to this trap is the Lunar Space Elevator. It functions less like a skyscraper and more like a permanent vertical railway, stretching hundreds of thousands of miles into the black. The core of this blueprint relies entirely on a material we call carbon nanotubes. Imagine a thread so impossibly strong that a single, microscopic strand could hold up a skyscraper. It's a perfect lattice of carbon atoms, rolled into a cylinder so incredibly thin that thousands could sit comfortably on the tip of a single human hair. Yet, its molecular bond is so fierce and unyielding that it remains completely unbreakable under immense tension. Earth's gravity is simply too strong for even this miracle material. Our planet pulls too hard. But the moon's gravity, just 1/6 of our own, is the perfect environment. Out there in the quiet cold, a cable woven from these nanotubes wouldn't just hold the weight of the world. It would thrive. But here's the catch. We already know how to make these materials, just not at this scale. Not yet. And everything depends on a single invisible point in space. If we get this wrong, the entire structure collapses. This tether acts as the ultimate bridge, permanently transforming the very nature of cosmic distance. The cable anchors deep into the lunar surface and shoots upward, passing straight through the Earth-Moon L1 point. Think of L1 as the cosmic eye of the storm. It's a gravitational dead zone, a place where the crushing pull of the Earth and the gentle tug of the moon perfectly cancel each other out. It's like placing a pencil perfectly between two magnets. By positioning a massive counterweight, perhaps a captured asteroid, or a sprawling space station far beyond this point, the entire cable pulls taut from centrifugal force. The relentless rotation of the Earth-Moon system keeps our permanent ribbon perfectly straight. This is the ultimate destination, a permanent, low-energy highway into the cosmos. Launching a rocket is like throwing your entire car away just to reach highway speed. A tether? It's an elevator. You keep the car and you just go up. We are trading the violent punch of a rocket for the quiet handshake of a mechanical climber. Establishing this permanent umbilical cord between lunar mines and orbital shipyards sets the stage for a massive heavy industry hub finally and forever free from Earth's crushing gravity. The engineering of a lunar space elevator is a staggering feat of orbital assembly that completely reverses our traditional, ground-up logic. To build this spine, we must start dead in the middle, at that perfect balance point of L1, and grow outward in both directions simultaneously. The unrolling process resembles a colossal cosmic loom. Automated, spider-like drones weave the carbon nanotube threads into a continuous ribbon that stretches for thousands of kilometers, yet remains only millimeters thick. This is a continuous, additive manufacturing process occurring entirely in the harsh vacuum of space. By beginning exactly at the gravitational pivot point, the entire structure remains perfectly stable, simultaneously descending toward the lunar surface while reaching up toward the Earth. The hero of this massive blueprint is the material itself. Carbon nanotubes function as the invisible, atomic-scale bricks of this megastructure. Each individual tube is a hollow cylinder of pure carbon atoms, perfectly aligned so their molecular bonds overlap. We are taking the concentrated, unbreakable strength of a diamond and spinning it into an endless ribbon. We are moving away from the heavy, brittle strength of steel and mastering the elastic, invincible strength of molecular lattices. The moon's gentle gravity ensures that this miracle material doesn't just survive the immense stresses. It operates with a massive safety margin. But this ribbon can't simply be a uniform string. To survive the tug-of-war between worlds, it must employ the principle of tapering. Because this elevator hangs suspended from space rather than resting on the ground, it is fundamentally an upside-down skyscraper. The foundation isn't at the bottom, it's at the very top. The cable must be massively thick at the L1 anchor, where the gravitational forces pull the hardest, tapering all the way down to a fragile-looking thread at the lunar surface. Think of it like a rubber band stretched aggressively from both ends. By designing the cable to be vastly thicker at the top, we create a shape dictated entirely by the invisible, competing poles of the Earth and the Moon. As the shimmering ribbon descends, it must anchor into the lunar surface. The ideal location for this foundation is the central plane, an area sitting almost perfectly at the center of the Moon's visible disk, staring directly down at Earth. Because the Moon is tidally locked permanently, showing the exact same face to us, the L1 point stays perfectly fixed in the dark lunar sky. Unlike an Earth-based elevator, which would constantly battle a wildly spinning planet and destructive atmospheric storms, the lunar tether remains beautifully stationary. We bolt the cable directly into the solid, ancient basalt of the lunar crust. This anchor becomes ground zero for our entire cosmic heavy industry hub, a massive terminal where raw lunar materials are processed before being loaded onto the climbers. The climbers themselves are the tireless workhorses of this new era. These aren't elevators on simple pulleys. They are light riders. Magnetic bullet trains ride a vertical beam of power. By utilizing magnetic levitation and advanced linear induction motors, these vehicles literally skate on a frictionless layer of magnetic ice. They push off the ribbon without ever touching it, completely eliminating friction and mechanical wear. This is essential, as the quiet journey from the dusty surface to the L1 station covers over 50,000 kilometers. To power these massive machines, heavy batteries are useless. Instead, we use power beaming. High-intensity lasers positioned on the lunar surface shoot pure energy directly into photovoltaic receivers on the belly of the climbers. They are sailing up the cable on a solid beam of light. The efficiency of moving mass this way changes everything. A traditional rocket must carry all the explosive fuel it needs to lift its own massive weight, plus the fuel just to lift that fuel. A tether climber carries nothing but its precious cargo. The energy required to lift a ton of lunar titanium all the way to the L1 station via the tether is less than 1% of the energy required by a rocket. We trade the explosive, wasteful launch for the steady, rhythmic pulse of a vertical railway. Surviving the harsh environment of deep space requires a living system. Exposed to the constant sandblasting of micrometeoroids and the blistering radiation of the sun, the ribbon can't be a static object. The robotic weavers that initially built the cable remain on it forever, functioning exactly like a biological immune system. When a microscopic tear is detected, these maintenance spiders rapidly crawl to the site and weave fresh carbon patches directly over the wound. The tether becomes a living machine, constantly healing and renewing itself against the relentless erosion of the void. At the very top of this ribbon sits the ultimate prize, the L1 gateway. This is the transfer station of the cosmos. Here, in this massive, zero-gravity construction yard, heavy industry truly begins. Without gravity pulling everything down, we can construct gargantuan starships that would be physically impossible to launch from any planet's surface. We assemble sprawling solar arrays and massive deep space habitats using raw materials lifted effortlessly from the moon. The L1 station is the scaffold of the future. The scale of our ambitions is no longer crushed by the weight of our materials. We are no longer building just for Earth. We are building for the galaxy. By establishing this engineering marvel, we turn the entire moon into a colossal gravitational sling. As materials move up the endless tether and past the L1 point, they naturally gain massive centrifugal energy. With a perfectly timed release, we can toss heavy cargo toward Mars, Ceres, or the icy moons of Jupiter without burning a single drop of chemical propellant. The lunar tether isn't just a bridge. It is a cosmic catapult. It becomes the mechanical, beating heart of a new spacefaring civilization, pumping the lifeblood of industry directly into the solar system. But establishing a permanent lunar tether does far more than just move heavy cargo. It fundamentally redefines our entire species' relationship with the void. For centuries, humanity has violently scarred the Earth, tearing open the ground to extract the metals and energy required to sustain our growing civilization. By moving heavy industry off-world, we initiate the great offloading. We can finally allow our exhausted home planet to heal. The lunar surface transforms into a global workshop, a place where the extreme heat and toxic waste of manufacturing are harmlessly vented into the dead vacuum of space, nearly 250,000 miles away from the living, breathing biosphere that birthed us. We aren't just building an elevator to the stars. We are building a permanent shield for the Earth. In this sweeping new paradigm, the moon functions as the ultimate cosmic foundry. Imagine vast, sprawling arrays of automated refineries, constantly powered by eternal, blinding sunlight at the lunar poles. They tirelessly process raw lunar regolith into high-performance, futuristic alloys. These perfected materials are then lifted seamlessly up the shimmering ribbon to the L1 shipyards. But this isn't just about manufacturing. This forces our evolution. It moves us permanently from a planetary civilization, helplessly trapped on a single world, into a true solar civilization, entirely capable of harnessing the infinite resources of our star system. We are no longer artificially limited by the deep poverty of gravity. Up there, the cost of manufacturing drops to near zero because the immense energy required to move it is essentially free. This ribbon replaces the dangerous gamble of the explosive rocket with the quiet, reliable routine of the climber. It is the definitive leap from charting a dangerous, unknown ocean to laying down the steel tracks of a transcontinental railroad. The tether becomes the steam engine of the new space age, permanently unifying the Earth and the Moon into a single, unbreakable economic and cultural entity. The philosophical shift is even more profound than engineering. As the tether becomes an everyday part of human infrastructure, the awe-inspiring overview effect, the cognitive shift experienced by astronauts seeing Earth floating in the dark, becomes a shared human heritage. The lunar hub becomes a bustling second home, a beacon of human ingenuity, where the bright lights of our new cities reflect off the incredibly thin, shimmering ribbon. We will look in the mirror and see ourselves no longer as isolated Earthlings, but as citizens of a dual-world system. This unbroken line of carbon is our first true, confident handshake with the rest of the solar system. One day, this ribbon might still be there, stretching from dust to darkness, long after the first climbers have stopped running. And if you stood on the moon and looked up, you wouldn't see a rocket. You'd see a line, thin, fragile, impossible. And you'd realize something strange. We didn't conquer space. We outgrew the need to fight it. Because the future of humanity was never about escaping Earth. It was about learning how to build without breaking everything in the process.